My name's Julia, and I wrote a story on tomboyism and girls who are interested in sports for the sports issue. So I basically just reached out to as many women athletes as I could find, and I asked them if they had any experiences growing up being labeled a tomboy or feeling like they were a tomboy themselves. One story that really resonated with me was Nicoletta Woods' story. She's one of the people quoted in the article. So she's been interested in basketball and a bunch of sports her whole life, but she always faced huge discrimination from the boys that she played with. So as a kid, she was in a town that didn't have any girls teams, so she would play with the boys, and they hated having her on the team. They didn't want her to play, even though she was probably better than most of the guys there. And the same thing happened when she joined Frierson intramurals, and they would fully sexualize her. These guys would come up behind her and say really gross comments about her body. She really took care to wear baggy shorts and to make sure none of her clothing was too tight or revealing, which is ridiculous that that's something she had to think about when she was trying to just get better at basketball. Tomboyism is this concept that we use to explain away gender abnormal behavior in girls. So even though a girl being interested in sports doesn't mean anything about their gender identity or their sexuality, I guess even at a very young age, adults needed a way to define them as something different. And it was a compliment for young girls, at least, to be called a tomboy, because it meant that they were scrappy and strong and athletic, all these things that we praise boys for being. But there is, which is what I learned from this story, there's this cutoff, this point where it stops being a compliment to be a tomboy. And there actually is no word for that kind of behavior in girls past adolescence. And this is because the stigma around being an athletic or sporty or non-gender conforming girl, and what that means to many people about your sexuality. And also in general, there's this reported drop-off in girls around that age who play sports. And it's for a myriad of reasons, but in general, the culture of sports is still very male-dominated. There isn't as much funding in female sports, and there isn't as many female role models for girls to look up to when they're playing sports. That and the fact that girls are not told that being sporty and being athletic is valuable for their femininity.